Hi, Calaveras County, Morgan Gache, CEO with the Calaveras County Chamber of Commerce. Apologize for the hiccups, completely my fault. But I would love to introduce Doug Archer here, from President and CEO of the Mark Twain Medical Center. Thank you so much for joining us, Doug.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thanks,
awesome.
Mark.
Yeah, well, it's really great to see from you and see from the hospital, because I know that you guys have been completely buried with the changes of routine that you normally have. So thank you. And I was just commenting on your hair. Your hair looks a little bit different.
Yeah, we're calling it COVID hair.
COVID hair.
Yes, yeah. I haven't been able to get to my normal hairdresser. So, and I let staff know that I'm just going to let it grow until we get back to normal.
Hey, that
I might regret that.
Yeah, you might be.
Yeah.
It might be time to get a hair tie or something so you can get a ponytail.
Let's see if I make it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I am so honored that I know you guys have not been doing very much in publicity right now for the sake of keeping things protected and under wraps. So thank you so much on behalf of you, on behalf of the hospital and Dignity Health in general, for allowing some insight, because our community cares about our hospital. And we know how
we care about our community.
We want to make sure you're good to go when we need you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, talk to me a little bit about some of the things that are going on with you guys right now, some of the things that you're focused on, your eyes are on, and what's important to you.
Sure. So let's see. For a timestamp, so we opened our incident command center, which basically means we have an event going on. That was March 10th. And today is, I believe, May 8th, although it's hard to keep track anymore. So we've been in this for about 2 months. And, you know, it's been a really, I'll say a bad version of Groundhog Day. We've been having a lot of meetings daily, planning. So our main focus, as everybody knows, we kind of the whole world for that matter, went on basically a lockdown, right? This is slowed down, if not completely stopped. And so we were in that category as well. We stopped doing anything what we call elective, things that aren't emergency or necessary. So that was a tough thing for, you know, we're in the business of taking care of people, right? So it was really tough for us, I think, as a team to say, hey, we can't do everything right now. It was for good reason and to keep everyone safe. But the good news is the past probably 2 weeks, we've really, well, maybe closer to 3 to 4 weeks, we've shifted our focus to how do we open back up? How do we start doing some of that elective stuff again and helping patients? And so that's been our focus. You know, the main priority, of course, is safety. Not just safety for our patients, but safety for our staff as well. Sadly, a lot of healthcare workers have been part of the, you know, the folks that have contracted and gotten sick from COVID. Not thankfully here at Mark Twain Medical Center, we've been very lucky. But that's a scary thing, and it's a scary thing for patients. So that's been our main focus. Just this week, we started opening up a little bit. We've been doing things like colonoscopies, you know, the more routine, less invasive procedures. And we've been, I'd say, testing our processes this week with the colonoscopies, just to make sure we can get patients scheduled appropriately, you know, so we don't have people stacking up in the waiting room and, you know, not able to abide by the 6-foot social distancing. And then also to make sure that we can, you know, turn the rooms around and in between patients, make sure we can clean things thoroughly and just do things right. So, you know, there's a a phrase. I use a lot of phrases, but one of them is go slow to go fast. We don't rush into this. It's healthcare, right? You don't want to rush. You got to take this stuff slow and take it seriously. But we've gone really slow. In fact, yesterday was our biggest day this week, and we did 4 surgical procedures yesterday. And it took us all day. And there was a lot of labor involved. And previously, pre-COVID, in a full day of, full 8-hour shifts of all of our surgery team, we could do 8, 9, 10 cases, depending on what types of cases. Yesterday, we spent all day doing 4. So just to give you an idea, kind of the labor that goes behind it, the precautions that we take, intense work. But I'll tell you, this week's been exceptionally cool. When I go out rounding and seeing staff and talking with people, they're getting back to taking care of patients. And that's why we show up every day. That's why we get out of bed. That's our job. That's what we do. So it's really cool to see people getting back to the stuff they love to do. So that's been our main focus. Also, keeping people sane, keeping people calm and in the know, keeping people informed. We get guidance from a lot of different organizations, government entities, corporate, and guidelines change. PPE, personal protective equipment, what you wear for what procedure, those things change. So there's a lot of education and re-education. We've, up until this week when we started opening back up, our volume was about half of normal. So the emergency room, for instance, normal day we'd see about 30 to 35 patients pre-COVID. We were down to some days we'd see 12, 13. So staff weren't working as much. There was some, concerns about, hey, what are we going to do? We don't have patients right now.
Sure.
So really proud that we were able to get through at least this phase and keep all of our staff. We've had a lot of people taking days off and PTO and things like that, but we've been able to keep all of our staff, and that's been really important for us. And this is, the interesting thing I found is, we're used to kind of disasters and catastrophes, and, it's healthcare. Things happen. But this one isn't just here at the hospital. And that's what's been, I think, really tough for staff is it's at home. It's across the entire nation. It's not just Mark Twain. It's not just Calaveras County. It's the whole world. And, before we'd have a rough day at the hospital, busy, high census, whatever. And you could kind of go home and relax and leave it behind. You can't with this. Caregivers are here and taking care of patients in a stressful environment, and then they go home and they're talking with loved ones and aunts and uncles and moms and dads that are at risk for coronavirus, and they're scared. And you kind of can't get away from it right now. And I think that's been probably the biggest difference and the biggest challenge for the team here.
Sure.
So that's why it's really cool to see everybody energized, getting back to work. We got a great team here, great team of doctors and nurses and, lab techs and radiology techs and all the different folks that they come together to take care of this place, housekeepers, and, it's like a little city. And so about every discipline you can imagine. But that's why they're here. They like taking care of the community. They like taking care of patients, and they're able to get back to doing that now. I would expect to see that to increase slowly into next week and beyond, where we'll just do a little bit more, a little bit more tomorrow than we did today. That's kind of what we're trying to do. Take it slow, make sure we're keeping everyone safe. Our clinics are starting to open up a little bit more. One interesting thing, and here we are, Facebook Live, we've ramped up our e-visits or virtual visits from our clinics, which has been really neat for some of our patients and some of our providers for that matter, that hadn't done that before. It's physically seeing a patient. And when they're doing it video, it's just a different dynamic, but it's gone very well. I think that's something that's here to stay. I think we're going to incorporate that into just our operations. We found that we can do it well and do it efficiently, helps us expand access. So I think that's something I've been trying to focus on, the positive things that can come out of this situation. And I think that's one of them. Is we've gotten more comfortable with that technology, and our patients have as well. So, there are some decent, good things coming out of this, as hard as it is to realize that sometimes. But yeah, that's the main thing we've been working on. We've had a lot of policies that we've had to write, a lot of procedures. We've had, 3 visits in the past 2 weeks from California Department of Public Health. And so they come out, they've been to the hospital, to the James Dalton Medical Office in Angels Camp, and to our San Andreas Rural Health Clinic to evaluate our response. What's our process to keep patients safe? How do we triage patients? Those sorts of things. And really proud to say that we did great. All 3 surveys went really, really well. One of the surveyors commented on our staff and referred to them as rock stars. So they were pleased with that. And it was good validation, good validation for our team that we are doing the right thing. We do have the right processes in place to keep everybody safe.
Yeah. I'd have to imagine that healthcare staff is feeling that strain, what you were talking about. Both, in the workplace, but then going home. I mean, a lot of them have kids that are now home full time. A lot of them have, like you said, family members that are in a vulnerable spot. And so, do you feel like they're getting enough support from the community and helping them kind of work through?
Yeah, I think the community's been great. Our patients, they've just been so grateful and appreciative when they do come seek care. That we're here, and just I think in general, this whole situation has helped us all appreciate more. Appreciate people, our relationships, our health. That's been a big help for our staff. They've leaned on each other quite a bit. One thing that I'm not a clinical person. I joke around here, I have a CPR card, but I don't use it. The thing that really struck me and surprised me is, so, you're here and you're taking care of patients, and, we don't know, we get a patient that may be at risk for COVID. We take a test, collect a test sample, we send it off for a lab result. It's a 24-hour plus turnaround. So we have that time where we don't know if this patient really has COVID-19. So we got to be on high precaution. And so when that staff member goes home, they have a potential of taking it home with them, right? The infection. And not being clinical, that one didn't strike me in the very beginning until I was talking with some staff and some of the extra steps they do to keep their family safe. Majority of staff are doing things like, changing in the garage, taking off their work clothes and going straight to the shower before they interact with their family at all. We have one provider, Dr. Kirpin, who has, really, he's just been amazing, frankly. So he decided to staff what we call basically our COVID clinic. So patients that maybe have some symptoms, not acutely ill, they don't need to go to the ER, but they need to be examined and potentially have a COVID test. So he volunteered to run that clinic and be the only provider, the only staff person there. no registration support, no nothing. He didn't want that exposure for everyone. So he did it himself, and he's actually stayed away from his family this whole time to make sure he keeps them safe. So it's pretty amazing to me some of the sacrifices our staff makes. And even, me being so close to all of this, how easy it is to really kind of underestimate the impact it really does have on these guys. So
Sure.
That's why it's great timing, our discussion. This is, let's see, I think it was Tuesday was the beginning of Nurses Week, which is a annual week of celebration for nurses. And then beginning next week will be Hospital Week. They coincide. So it's just couldn't have come at a better time, for us as a management administrative team to show our appreciation, but also for the community to show support of the sacrifices our frontline does make on a day-to-day basis. So it's pretty awesome.
Well, so how can the community support? I know it's Nurses Week, and you said it's Hospital Week next week. How can we support you guys?
Well, small things like out at Pool Station and Main Street. If you haven't seen, there's kind of cardboard cutouts of heroes. So in partnership with the Rotaries across Calaveras County, we were able to put those up, and they'll travel around the county. But that's a Rotary and just the the honks and things you get when they drive by those signs. That means a lot to staff. We've had staff deliver gifts, thank you cards. Those things go miles with our staff. But the other cool thing is, and we've taken a little different stance this year. So not only are we spending Hospital Week and Nurses Week to celebrate our staff, but it came from one of the chamber events that you guys had through Zoom. And Julie, who's our chief philanthropy officer, participated in it. She came back to our A-team meeting a few days later and was telling us about it and about how the small businesses are really getting hurt pretty hard right now with the essentially being shut down for almost 2 months. So we made a decision to share the wealth, basically. So for our Hospital Week celebration next week, we decided we're going to go all locally sourced items. So we do lunch and giveaway items. And so next week, we've got all locally sourced items. We've got pizza coming from Gold Dust Pizza in Copper.
Awesome.
We've got snack packs from Moke Hill Nuts. Let's see, I put a list together so I don't forget anybody. We've got a bunch of coffee from Gold Country Roasters and Murphy's. Soap, goat milk soap, and lip balm from Opie Farms out in West Point.
Neat.
Upcountry Catering will be catering one of our Muffin Monday, and Island Sage out of Murphy's will be doing cupcakes and some different treats for us. So we're just, we wanted to do what we could to try to infuse a little cash back into the county and see if we can help some of those small businesses. I can tell you personally, my family and we've made a commitment to do takeout at least Friday, Saturday, Sunday every week just to support local restaurants. We may or may not have bought a few more cases of wine than normal to our local wineries. But yeah, it's been, like I said, there's good things that can come out of this.
Yeah.
And I think I've seen just an overall increase in appreciation for the things we have. I mean, my gosh, if you're going to have to shelter in place, it's a pretty cool county to do it in.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Most of our views outside are quite incredible.
Pretty nice.
Yeah.
Pretty nice.
Well, what a neat gift that not only you're providing for your staff, but really providing for the county in general. When we had that mixer that you're talking about, it got real. There was I
Yeah.
don't think a dry eye, listening and understanding the magnitude of what's happening and what continues to evolve here. You know, and it's incredible when we can, you know, kind of give a hand up and be able to keep our dollars here in Calaveras County, because it's really hard when we have the limitations that we do. And so finding a way to still keep those dollars, that's incredible. It's very much appreciated.
And those are, you know, I think we all want to get back to some form of normal. But I personally, I hope we don't go back to exactly the way it was before. Mm-hmm. I hope we keep these things in our thoughts and think about our local vendors and our local farmers and our local restaurants, and shop locally, do more locally. I think that'd be a pretty good outcome for this. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll definitely emerge. We'll come out the other side of this. We'll do that, but I hope we learn some lessons along the way. And I think there can be some positive things that come out of it.
It feels very American and very Calaveras County in Calaveras County. Can I say that? That during crisis, we come together, and it's that sentiment of not wanting to leave that behind, to be able to somehow grasp onto that and continue to perpetuate that support and that sense of community that we have here. And you've essentially echoed that, and it's incredible.
Yeah, we've, you know, I started here at Mark Twain March of 2019, so just over a year ago. Let's see, I think within the first week, we had a massive telecommunication shutdown in the whole county. We lost a fiber line somewhere. We lost our internet, phones. We had the power safety shutdowns with PG&E. And I remember telling the team here, you know, unfortunately, but fortunately, we're good at disaster. We do really, really well. And, you know, the fires that we had well before my time, but we know how to pull together and support each other. And that's one of the beauties of Calaveras County. So something we should be very proud of.
Yeah. Well, we're a proud county, and we're proud of the support, and just an extra thanks to you on behalf of Mark Twain Medical Center. You know, you've expressed your gratitude for the community businesses and what they do, but you also are very involved in a lot of the businesses that we have, and we exist, and it's a wonderful collaborative community that we truly have, and so appreciative for your partnership.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Yeah. We've been doing a senior meals program for a while now, but they really ramped it up during the current COVID situation. And I always hate saying numbers out loud because I'll probably get them wrong, but I believe last week we sent out about 2,000 senior meals.
Wow.
Just to the community for, you know, whether it's tough for them to get to the grocery store or, you know, whatever it is, but just that community support. And we don't really struggle to get people to help out with that stuff here. You know, people really dig in and pitch in and help. We have a phrase we like to use here, small but mighty. And I think that rings true. We step up to the challenge. Now, we'd gladly not have the challenge. It'd be okay. But I feel strong about the team here and about this county, that when the chips are down, people band together and they take care of business and they take care of each other.
Yeah. Well, tell me, what are you looking forward to at Mark Twain Medical Center in the coming weeks and months?
You know, I hesitate to say get back to normal because I think that might be a little longer, but getting back to taking care of patients, you know, people have been getting sick and from a lot of things other than coronavirus, right? I mean, people have been getting sick since the dawn of man. And when this all kind of happened, it was almost like we had to lock the doors up a little bit, and we couldn't provide chronic care as well. We weren't able to have the access that we used to have in the clinics. And so getting back to that is going to be really, really great. You know, people with orthopedic issues, I need a new hip, a new knee, or a arthroscopy, or a shoulder. That's not necessarily life or death. It's not something you need to go to the emergency room for right now, but impacts quality of life in a big way. And so to be able to get back to doing those things, physical therapy, occupational therapy, imaging, one thing that we've been talking about a lot lately is some of the diagnostics that we do, mammography, cancer screenings. We haven't been able to do those things very much recently. Well, really not at all. So we just started doing like colonoscopies this week. And those are the miracle stories, right? Those are when you catch something before it's bad.
Right.
And that's what people really like to do here. So getting back to being able to do what we have trained and gone to school to do is going to be really exciting. We've got a lot of really strong and powerful people in this organization, at the bedside and all across the board, registration, you name it. A lot of really good professionals here. They don't like to sit around. They don't like to not do their job, especially when they know patients out there need care.
Yeah.
Being able to open up and do that again, that's exactly what we're looking forward to. Looking forward to a slice of Gold Dust pizza next week. Looking forward to maybe getting a haircut one day. Things like that too. But really, it's going to be letting our team get back to doing the work they love.
Yeah. Well, before we wrap up here, I think it's worth highlighting a couple of things. Kathy Galino commented, "Thanks MTMC for all you do and for the wonderful Calaveras Strong Together banner, which is incredible.
Yeah.
I love seeing those out in the community. That's awesome." And Jennifer Solomon said, "Love this. What an awesome idea when talking about what you're doing for the staff with Nurses Week and with Hospital Week. So that's really cool." And Lucy Kaminsky, "Thank you MTMC for all you do." That's great. That's great.
That's awesome.
Well, one of the things that I like to ask people that I talk to is if you can offer a piece of hope that you have for the county, and specifically right now, and maybe this is biased because I represent a lot of businesses, and what piece of hope can you impart on us right now?
Well, I do think, we've been pretty fortunate here in Calaveras County in terms of actual cases and exposure to COVID. So I think that's one thing we should be, feel fortunate about. And I do think, I think that turns into hope for us because, we've got like our partners here at Avalon, Skilled Nursing. They've done a really great job keeping their patients safe. The Foothill Village community over in Angels Camp has done some great things to keep their community members safe. I think our hope really comes from how we take care of each other and how we band together to support each other. And I can't say that, this is going to be over and everything will be back to normal tomorrow. I also can't say that something else won't happen in the future. But I can say that if it does, this is about the best place you could be to have it happen. I mean, you've got a group of, 45,000 some odd people in Calaveras County that have proven time and time again that whatever you got, bring it on. We can do it. And, I'm proud to be part of the community and here, part of the organization here at Mark Twain Medical Center. Because I think that is hope right there. That we've got the right people, we've got the right spirit. And I think we can pretty much handle anything that they throw at us. We've had the opportunity to work close with the county recently, with especially Dr. Kaleda, and Dr. Kaleda, hats off to you, sir. I know you've been busy, but the whole county and the county organization, chamber, and all the small businesses. Again, I think our hope is us.
Yeah.
Us coming together like we do, and we'll continue to do. So, whatever lies ahead, ideally we can avoid it, but if we have to take it head on, there's not a better group of people I think I'd rather do it with. So, yeah, pretty amazing.
It is. It is. Well, I have to give you an air. Oh my goodness, here we are. Air high five, a sanitary.
How do there we go. Let me try it this way.
Yep, there we go. It's mirrored back a little bit. Thank you so much, Doug, for sharing with us. Thank you to your family, for all of you guys coming to our county. It's incredible to see what your leadership has brought in, and so appreciative for it. So,
absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Keep supporting your staff. We love seeing the stories on social media, and it's neat to see the way that you guys celebrate.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say stop by the hospital because, we're pretty tight on our visitor rules here. But, letters, phone calls, Facebook posts, the appreciation you have that you want to share with staff. Clinics are opening up. You're welcome to swing by there and share your appreciation. It's miles. It really does go miles for our staff. So, and Morgan, thank you for the opportunity. This was really fun. I'm glad
it was.
Happened.
Yes, me too. I'm glad I got to see that hair. That's great.
Well, okay. See how long it's around.
Yes. Well, I think we'll all look a little bit different the next time we see each other in person, hopefully.
Very true.
Very soon.
Yeah.
Well, it was a pleasure, Doug. Thanks so much.
Likewise.
And
right.
we talk again.
All right. Have a good weekend. Thanks, Morgan.
You too. Bye-bye. Bye.